All right, guys, Mr. K here with you. We're going to look at a bell pepper. We're going to try to, I'm just going to show you how to break one down if you're a bell pepper fan. There's a number of different types of bell peppers. You have the green, which is your most classic bell pepper. You also have a yellow, there's an orange, a red. I'm sure there's some other variety that I don't normally see, but those are the ones you kind of see in your local supermarket. There's a couple of different ways that you can treat a bell pepper depending on what you're trying to do for it. I'm going to show you the first way if you were going to use it for a dice in a sauce. Now you probably know this, but if you don't, there's a core inside here that we'll show you in a minute. The way I like to avoid that is I like to cut straight down each side. Normally these are kind of square, they might be a little bit rounded, but I just try to cut right down the side, and if I can, if I'm good enough, I try to cut on a little angle so I can get all the way down to the bottom, because it curves down to itself in the bottom. The idea is to utilize as much of the product as possible, right? Now, what I'm left with is this inside core. There's not much I could do with it. I could use it for my stock pot. If I got want extra credit, I could cut the top of this off right here and use it for something. But I'm just going to get it out of the way. I'm going to put it in my pot for my stock later. Okay? Now, then you're left with these right here. Now, you want to, every once in a while, you'll have a little seed there. Try to get rid of that. You can take it by tapping it down on your board, and then you can kind of scrape your board off. That's one good, easy way to do it. Depending on how well you handle your bell pepper in the beginning is how many seeds you have in it at the end. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these and I'm going to cut these into strips. Now in this manner, now you've got your skin side, which is a little bit waxy, and then your inside. There are these little white ribbons right here. You probably want to get rid of these. In bell peppers, this doesn't matter that much, and I am showing you a way to not do that correctly. You always want to cut away from you. But people may not know it, but the heat on a pepper, even though a bell pepper is not that hot, comes from the seeds and also that membrane right there. So you always, especially in your hotter peppers, want to get that membrane out. Some people can just go down there and they can pick it out with their hands. Now another cautionary statement, depending on what type of pepper you're working with, the hotter the pepper, the more you might want to wear gloves. I have seen people that have been cutting jalapenos and they have touched their eyes and they have started crying. It's almost like they got hit with pepper gas, because that's what they make pepper gas from. I would also recommend to wash your hands very thoroughly before you go use the restroom. That's all I'm going to say on that matter. Okay, so anyway, take this right here. I like to cut it from the non-waxy side. And I just take my knife and I cut strips. I just cut strips out right here. Trying to make sure I go all the way through the skin. If you've got a sharp knife, you can cut from the other side. It just works better for me going the other way. I just sharpen these knives so they're in pretty good shape. So, and I can take it, I can rock it down through here. Again, I'm being careful for my fingers. Or this is one of those things I sometimes will take and I will just do a slice down through. It just depends on how your comfort level with the knife, how good a knife you have, how much practice you've had with it. Now, at this point, this application, you could probably use these in a sauce of some sort. On like a vegetable tray. If you ever go to a party, there's a vegetable tray. The things that are left at the end of the night on the vegetable tray is cauliflower and bell pepper. I don't care if they're keto or not, the cauliflower is always going to be left, and so is the bell pepper. But at this point, you have these nice little strips, right? You got nice little strips. That'd be great for dipping in some kind of sauce or just eating straight raw. But I'm going to take them and I'm going to turn these into a dice because I'm going to use them in a sauce. I'm just going to take them and I'm just going to do probably, this is a small dice, I'm going to 1/8 of an inch. If I was going to say start a spaghetti sauce, I would probably start by sauteing some onion and bell pepper. I might put carrot in it. A lot of people don't think that carrot goes in a spaghetti sauce, but it absolutely can. It adds to the color, it adds to the flavor. especially if it's one that you're going to blend up. If you're ever doing that, you got to make sure you cook the carrots all the way through them. And this is your nice little dice here. Perfect, perfect for a sauce. This is going to cook down nice and even, especially if you've got some onions that same size. I'm going to put it up here where you can see it a little bit better. That's just my nice little dice I've got there. Now, one other application that you can use for this is for, and you could use this on a salad, no problem. I'm just going to show you how to cut a ring. Now, if I were to cut a ring out of here, I would start by probably cutting the end of it off here. And I would maybe cut the top off here. I would try. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get this core out without tearing up the rest of my bell pepper. So I'm cutting down on this end. Pulling this end out, and then I can try to push this core out. Now, what I've done here is so that's what that core looks like without the rest of that top and bottom on it. But what I've also done is I've made a much larger mess on my cutting board. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tap these seeds out. And then I'm going to take my bench scraper. I'm going to scrape these in my scrape bucket. It always helps to have the right tool. Now from here you've got your sharp knife. All you're going to do is you're going to cut nice little rings. Got to have a sharp knife to do this, and you have to have a bell pepper that doesn't have any cracks in it. So we got some nice rings out of there. You could use that for a salad, put it right on top, garnish of some sort. You're in business.